What's up, you guys? It's Jason from RPM, and obviously we're standing in front of our new 2024 Maverick XRS with smart shocks. We're going to be giving you a little rundown on what we plan on building, what we're already building, and what's going to sound like what. First thing we're going to take a look at is the back of the car and maybe the side, because we already have parts on the car that we're going to be offering you guys. So check it out. All right, guys, first stop's back here. This is the charge tube going to the throttle body of the Maverick R. Yeah, the stock ones are silicone. They're nowhere near this. This is 5-ply wire reinforced silicone. It is super strong, super durable, and the best part is BRP hooks you up with some super high-end clamps. Aftermarket clamps aren't even going to be needed on most of this silicone. Some of the other ones we're going to check out, we're going to include clamps with, but these ones are ready and set to go. Obviously up here, we got ourselves the RPM V2 BOV. Already got a BOV on this car. We already got a reference port picked out. This it's pretty well dialed in. All right, guys, over here on the driver's side and sticking to the silicone subject, we're gonna hit this one. This is our other charge tube. Again, 5-ply wire reinforced. And on this yellow one, you can actually see a little bit of the wire in there. On the manufactured stuff, you won't be able to see. It'll be thicker. We wanted to show it off on this one, so that's kind of how we built it. Down here, we have another intake tube. This is the intake tube going from the turbo inlet to the airbox. This is going to be the one that's going to have the collapsing issues. We've obviously addressed all of that. A super nice fitment, all smooth transitions going from the airbox to the turbo. Up here, we've got the intake tube. This is a really early model prototype on the machine still. We don't even have a clamp on it yet, but this is the one that I can't wait to show you guys more about when we finally get it dialed in. Essentially what we have done is oversize this intake tube. We've cleared the intercooler, which was a problem with the factory tube. We enlarged it. Up at the bed, or where the intercooler is, we've actually built a velocity stack. In addition to the velocity stack, we've got a wire mesh pre-filter, so no big debris going into your airbox. We're gonna stop it right away. And then we're gonna put a pre-filter on top of it to disperse any water, sand, debris, dust. It's all gonna get stopped before it even hits the airbox. Then the air filter is gonna do its job. Coming back to the air filter, we've already got you your pre-filter for it. You want to put a pre-filter on this, a pre-filter up on the inlet of the bed, you're gonna be set. All of your intake tubes, charge tubes, all already dialed. Of course, we built the catch can for this machine. It took a little bit of work and things were a little bit different. We did some major upgrades. So the catch can on this machine is just like the X3. You're gonna be expelling a lot of oil, a lot of vapors. All that stuff's no bueno for the intake. No reason to dump that stuff back in your intake, so we're gonna catch it in our RPM catch can. They're located super tight up in here, out of the way, everything's legit. We also upgraded our drain valves. They now have a barbed port on it. So down here is where you're actually gonna drain all of your oily and watery residue. You're simply gonna crack the valve up top, everything's gonna drain down here. Super nice, super clean, super convenient. All right, guys, in the Maverick R, we're gonna have a second radiator back here. We've already got override kits coming for this. You can run this one all the time. And then we're gonna have intercooler override kits. So this puppy's got 2 intercooler fans, so we had to do some changing up on things, but it's gonna be sick. You're gonna be able to just override the intercoolers on a switch, override the rear radiator fans on a switch, no problem. Everything's gonna be running super cool. All right, guys, you can see we got some scanning dots under these seats. Of course, we're gonna be building an auxiliary fuel tank for these machines. We're gonna have driver and passenger. You're gonna be hitting about 4 gallons on each side. They're gonna be super nice, super sleek, and they're gonna be universal with the Can-Am X3 also. As soon as we get those done, of course, we'll be posting about them. But yeah, of course, we'll have auxiliary fuel for these machines. All right, guys, last, not least, and absolutely everyone's favorite, we're gonna be building exhaust systems for this car. We're gonna have mid pipes that are 3 inches and 3 inches only. The factory 2.5-inch mid pipe and muffler, they're not gonna cut it for these 240 horsepower machines. Think about it this way, the 120 horsepower X3 uses a 2.5-inch mid pipe. The 240 horsepower machine, it needs a little bit more airflow. So all of our mid pipes, all of our mufflers, 3 inches is standard. Our 3-inch mid pipes will hit the 3-inch muffler, it'll fit no problem. Our 3-inch mufflers, they'll fit the factory mid pipe if you don't want to upgrade at the same time. We're gonna have mid pipes with resonators in them, standard, and of course we're gonna have an E-valve exhaust system coming very soon. Can't quite show you guys that stuff yet, but I can definitely show you some mufflers and a couple of the more basic mid pipes. And of course we're gonna have E-valve mufflers, chambered if you want it quiet, our sport muffler with a valve on it, muffler deletes. You know, we're gonna have all the combinations that we always do This go around, everything's gonna be able to co-mingle, so mid pipes are gonna be interchangeable. You want a non-resonated mid pipe with this muffler or resonated with it, you can pick and choose what mid pipes you want with it. You can run E-valve on them, E-valve on the stock muffler. Yeah, this stock muffler, it's no bueno. It needs to come on. This thing is heavy, man. It's huge. Of course, we're gonna have the colored tips to match. So we're gonna have the ability to run the factory tip on them, of course, and we'll have a couple other tip options. You'll have colored factory tips, so blued, black, like we do for the X3 and the Pro R. We'll have a few other just crazy options. Axle mounts, we're gonna have some axle mount options for this too. I know a lot of guys have been crazy over our spare axle carriers. We'll have them able to mount up to the Maverick R as well, no problem there. And yeah, I mean, if there's parts that you guys think that we're missing and you wanna see on these machines, just let us know. And we look forward to bringing you guys more content and more videos that are specific to each product. So that's kind of a wrap of what we're planning on offering. But yeah, in the meantime, I gotta get to work on some of these exhaust systems, you guys. So just follow us and you'll get all the notifications you need about all the cool Maverick car stuff coming.